If you have been developing a new product, you cannot go direct into mass production. You need to think of the new product introduction process, which is a very structured approach to transfer your product design into the proper manufacturing and testing processes so that mass productions can be made at the right quality level without cost overruns and within the right timelines. So let's say you are the buyer. So what is your role in the process? What do you need to do? What can you basically delegate to the manufacturer? So there are two criteria here. The first one is the manufacturer's abilities and their experience. Okay, so if it's high, very good, you're working with a manufacturer that knows how to do that. They have the processes, they know how to do it, they have the right people, and so on. Okay, if it's low, well, you obviously are going to need to put in some extra resources. Either you hire them or you work with another company to help them. Now, the second criteria is percentage of the business. What I mean is, are you a big customer or a small customer for this manufacturer? If you're a big customer, high percentage of their business, either currently or in the future, if the plan works well and the manufacturer recognizes that, well, they will be more motivated. They will put their best project manager, engineering team, and so on the project. If it's low, well, it's going to be the opposite. So you need to adapt to that. So let's take this situation here, which is obviously the ideal situation. You're working with a good manufacturer that has worked on the NPI process on a number of previous projects with relatively similar levels of complexity and more or less the same types of processes. Great. And also they are motivated because it's going to be a major part of their business. So here we say, let them do most of the NPI work and review the deliverables. Okay. In the auto industry, call it PPAP, production part approval process. The buyer has basically a checklist of deliverables that the manufacturer has to provide, and then the automotive companies will review it and confirm everything has been done correctly as per the right process, right? Well, their NPI process, which they call something else, and obviously still provide some help. And most of the time in this case, it's relatively comfortable for the buyer. Okay, now this is the situation you might say, for example, of Apple when they develop something with a Foxconn or a Pegatron or some company like that. You might say this is where they are. Yes, however, they're very hands-on also. Okay, very hands-on. They even work themselves on developing some of the machinery to do some of the manufacturing, so that they are the only ones in the industry to do it. They really want to push the envelope. So in that case, obviously, you need to be more hands-on. Okay, but usually, in most cases, the manufacturer is working and the buyer is more hands-off. Okay, let's take another one here. The manufacturer has the ability, the experience, but they don't consider you as a major customer or a potential major customer. So there's a problem of resources, a very big problem of resources often. You don't get the good project manager. You don't have access to all of their quality, process engineering, and purchasing and other teams that are very critical here. Your pilot runs are never the highest priority. Everything is going to be very slow, long time. Okay, so, and if you have a good project manager, they're also handling some bigger accounts, and you will always be the lower priority. Okay, so you need to sell the project, you need to have access to management, and you need to be able to pull and push the right people when necessary. Okay, and a lot of companies are in this case. And if you see that you're not going to get the priority in whatever you do, then you have to do it yourself. Okay, do the work, prepare all of the working documents, send engineers there at the factory to do the work with them, and to get things done. Obviously, the manufacturer needs to review what you produce this way, but you need to do a lot of the work. Okay, now let's say you work with a low ability kind of manufacturer. Okay, they don't really have a structured process, they don't have much experience introducing new products. So and the worst case is this one, where you basically need to do all of the work. Okay, so you can do it internally, or you can work with a service provider. There are companies like this that basically work as a member of your team, and they will do all of this. They will plan all the way through the end of the product development, and they will do a lot of the work also on the testing processes, testing stations, and so on the details of the quality standard, and so on and so forth, and on the industrialization, on defining and developing the processes and documenting all that, and the process flowchart and the control plan and all the process risk analysis, the gauge R&R, and so on and so forth as necessary. Okay, so if you don't work with a good and experienced manufacturer, and you're not a very big customer for them, yeah, you're gonna have to put resources on this. Otherwise, they will just try to go very fast into production, and that is really very, very dangerous for you. Basically skipping the NPI process. Okay, the big risk here is that they will try to skip everything if you don't bring the resources yourself and do the work yourself. All right, now the fourth situation is that the manufacturer is not very experienced, doesn't really know how to do it well, but they consider you as a major customer. So here you could push them to hire some of the right people. Okay, and if that happens, then you don't need to do all of this here, right? But still, you need to manage a project, provide a roadmap. You need to do the project management. Okay, very, very important here. You need to be more hands-on. I hope that makes sense. Basically, that means you have project manager. Again, you manage by deliverables, but you also give them maybe the templates to use, and you define the way it's supposed to be done, and so on and so forth. Now, again, it really depends on the kind of process and quality engineers that they hire, but even if you are a major customer, they might not be able to find the right engineering team very fast as needed and get them to hit the ground running, right? There's a lot of hiring decisions that are actually quite bad, and people leave after 1 week, and then they need to keep looking, and so on. So things are always a bit slower than you would like. Okay, so I hope this has been useful. Thanks, and let us know if you have any questions on this topic. Thanks a lot.